Alright, so this is super unexpected. I meant for this channel's first video to be a little more something music related, given the fact that I make music, but holy shit, chapter 1125. I've wanted to talk about One Piece for so long on YouTube, and instead of sticking to my original plan for this channel, we're gonna talk about this, so fuck it.
Relax.
Let's talk about Figarland Garling and his promotion, Saturn's demotion from life. Let's talk about the bridges named after Kaido's favorite beverages, with one of them being named after his home country coincidentally. There is a lot to unpack in this chapter thematic-wise. If you're into me, a disembodied floating DJ who loves to talk about One Piece, make sure to like and subscribe so I can continue to be a disembodied floating DJ who likes to talk about One Piece. So let's talk about Figarland Garling. Not the person, but the name itself, which belongs to a person. I imagine a lot of One Piece fans fully aware of how Oda likes to operate when it comes to naming characters and other things that aren't characters, that he likes to be clever, particularly with puns. So I think there's no surprise that ever since Garling was introduced in chapter 1086 as the champion of God Valley and the supreme commander of the God's Knights, people are going to go in-ski deep into the crevices of the asshole of a particular mammal that is commonly referred to as the rabbit hole to figure out if there's any meaning behind the name of Figarland Garling and what that meaning could imply about his character, especially knowing that he's been established as a significant player in the final war for the One Piece. Let's get down to dissecting this guy's name. What stood out to me about Garling's full name is the connection to the word Garl, shown in his first and last names. In Japanese, Garl is garu, which is the onomatopoeia for a growl.
Two Bubs? Do you love me too? No.
Which is usually associated with wolves. Now, what's funny about how I made that connection between growl and wolf, and I shit you not, was from Digimon, specifically the Digimon Garurumon, and I was like, oh shit, things started to click. Look at this man's cut. Look at it. It's the goddamn moon. After making the connection between Garling and wolves, it finally started to make sense to me why Oda chose to reintroduce the long-forgotten idea of Tequila Wolf into the chapter. Not only are we reintroduced to Tequila Wolf, but we also find out that it's got siblings of a variety of bridge structures inspired by Kaido's favorite pastime, getting totally fucking wasted. Bourbon Wolf, Rum Wolf, and Vodka Wolf. Strangely, all four bridges share the same last name. I did run into a community post by Kusaland Theories in which he discussed how the name Wolf could just refer to how the bridges operate in a pack, as in a pack of wolves, for a singular purpose, which is to essentially create new land for the celestial dragons for when the world gets flushed down into the all-blue toilet, which, you know, I can buy. I can understand that. However, I'd like to suggest a different idea that could, in my opinion, be a clever way for Oda to tie in the in-world purposes of these four bridges to one of the series' most recurring themes, death and inherited will. These bridges not only serve as physical means of connection between the gods of the One Piece world, the celestial dragons, to the mortal realm, in which ordinary people, like the celestial dragons, are complete assholes, but they also act as another symbol of the world government's attempt to control and to bring order, as we've seen time and time again throughout the series. Only this time, it's to save their asses from imminent doom, destruction, or just plain death, as this is the subject of this chapter. Essentially, these bridges are the lifelines for the celestial dragon's survival, but if you're not a celestial dragon, sucks for you. And this is where our big beefy boy, Saint J. Garcia Saturn, comes in. He fucked up. He royally screwed up, letting Luffy get away. His hubris gets the best of him by not destroying Emeth when he had the chance 200 years ago. And Imu's like, you're fired. Takes away his immortality, bones, the end. The bridges were built to ensure that the celestial dragons could escape death. And similarly, the powers granted to the Gorosei by Imu also ensure that they can escape death until they are stripped of their title and status. And in that case, it's as good as being dead. The only way to truly quote-unquote kill a celestial dragon, or Gorosei in this instance, is to strip them of their personal quote-unquote bridge, power, and divine privilege. We also have the surviving Vegapunk satellites Voltron the fuck up and become this Frankenstein-like of a thing that's completely disproportional, sort of like a One Piece character design, so Actually, that's actually pretty accurate for a One Piece character design. But just like Saturn's death, the fate of the satellites also tie back into the chapter's title. So even though each of them physically die, they remain alive thanks to their connection to Punk Records. And because of the creation of their new collective body in which all 4 Vegapunks operate as a single unit, it suggests they sort of exist in this esoteric bridge between life and death. Overall, like Saturn and the rest of the Gorosei, they permanently achieve their form of immortality. So in a sense, it fits perfectly with the theme of inherited will, with how one never truly dies as long as one's will, dreams, ideals are passed down or carried forward by others, which highlights that true immortality lies in the endurance of the ideals passed down through generations and a continual fight for freedom. And much like how the internet, which Oda pretty much introduced in the world of One Piece through Punk Records, it allows us to immortalize our beliefs and ideals and just pretty much our identities through YouTube, forums, and other social media platforms. And so the concepts of inherited will and the WLOD serve as this metaphorical bridges between the living and the dead. The idea of bonds and connection is the genuine and purest form of immortality I feel like Oda is trying to address in the series. On the other hand, Imu and the Celestial Dragons represent this false interpretation of immortality. They seek to control and gain power through unnatural means, including the Mother Flame, whatever power Imu is using to grant the Gorosei their immortality. However, but their worldview of immortality is flawed, as seen with Saturn's death. Hell, even the bridges themselves could be toppled down with enough force. So I think it reflects how the Celestial Dragon's pursuit of this false form of immortality through dominance is fragile. And before speculating what Garling's yokai form could be, let's talk about Fenrir. Who's Fenrir? This is Fenrir. Fenrir's a good boy. Fenrir is a giant wolf from Norse mythology who was also born as Loki's son. Not sure if that'll translate somehow into the story itself, knowing the Prince of Elbaf is named Loki, but I digress. Fenrir plays a massive role in the Norse mythology apocalyptic event known as Ragnarok, which we are all familiar with at this point given the amount of fan speculation suggesting that the final war in One Piece will take inspiration from Ragnarok. And also, Kaido beats the shit out of people using a move called Ragnarok. So there you go. Now, I'm bringing up Ragnarok for 2 reasons. Fenrir's role signifies a transition between the old and new worlds when he kills the All-Father Odin, thus marking the end of the established order and the beginning of the new one. Essentially, Fenrir is like the bridge between the old and the new. Funny how this chapter showcases Eva flexing his expertise on bridges, and to tie this back to Garling for a moment, he too in a way kind of acts like a bridge in the sense that by replacing Saturn, who was part of the original lineup of the 5 Elders, Garling's presence creates a new lineup of 5 Elders. Therefore, his role in this chapter is to kick out the old and bring in the new world. That development is perfect timing since the world is about to sink, bringing about a new world. And so Garling fulfills the role of Fenrir ideally in the undergoing Ragnarok event of One Piece. This brings me to what yokai Garling could assume, the form of which I think is pretty obvious by now. Garling is going to be a wolf, but not just any wolf. Imu will grant Garling the ability to transform into the yokai Okuri Inu. The Okuri Inu is a yokai that resembles a wolf and is said to pursue travelers at night through mountains. And while the Okuri Inu doesn't directly attack travelers, it will usually wait for them to stumble and fall, at which at a certain point, they will eat them. And in some stories, the Okuri Inu is a guardian chaperoning travelers to their destination. But in any case, I think the description of the guardian could work for Garling because the concept of guardian dogs does harken back to the mythological creature, the Hellhound, who are known to be guardians or servants of Hell, which is a perfect description for Garling's current role being a servant to Imu, who we can all pin him or her down as the devil of the One Piece world. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Garling is a wolf, Garling is a bridge, Garling is life, Garling, Garling, Garling. But seriously, this is an exciting chapter of One Piece, and I hope you guys enjoyed me yapping my ass off because this was fun. Please like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed this discussion. Click the bell so you can be notified anytime I drop an upload. And let me know in the comments what you think about this chapter. What do you think Garling's monster form could be? What expectations do you have for Garling in the future? This is DJ Willie D, your host of WLOD 99.9 FM, and I'm signing off.